Ready when? Okay, are we okay? Good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm thrilled to announce a new project for downtown Anchorage. That is the establishment of a new library here in historic Old City Hall. This beautiful building has been a landmark of our city for over 80 years. Built in 1936, utilizing New Deal economic stimulus funding during the Great Depression era, the building has housed various city departments, including the mayor's office, city council chambers, the police chief's office, the fire station, and the town library. This jewel of Anchorage architecture was rightly added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1980. Thanks to a generous gift from the Getz Foundation, this historic landmark will once again be home to a downtown library. For those who are unfamiliar with the Getz name, I'd like to share with you some of the history about the woman who started it all. Janet Getz was a true pioneer Alaskan. She was born November 3rd, 1911, in Scotland. When she was just 19 years old, she traveled to New Jersey to visit family. It was there that she met and fell in love with John Getz, also an immigrant from Munich, Germany. The couple married in 1934 and a decade later moved to Anchorage seeking adventure. They were both avid skiers and among the early volunteers who built Arctic Valley. Janet was a lover of literature and a devoted library supporter. For many years, she walked from her home on 2nd Avenue to the original Luzak Library located on 4th and F. She penned her own poetry and interestingly translated and transcribed diaries written by Susitna Valley homesteader and trapper Fred Winter. He was a German immigrant. That collection is currently being held by the library at the University of Alaska Anchorage. Mrs. Getz was not at all happy when the original Luzak Library was closed and replaced by the Midtown Library. It became her personal mission to reestablish a library in the heart of downtown. In her senior years, Janet worked with the Library Foundation, the Anchorage Library Foundation, to fulfill that mission. Mrs. Getz died in 2010 at the age of 99. John preceded her in death, and not having any children, she generously bequeathed $7.2 million in a trust with the Anchorage Library Foundation for the express purpose of establishing a downtown library. That trust has grown to approximately $12.5 million. Additionally, in 2003, the Alaska legislature appropriated, on behalf of the Anchorage Library Foundation, a $2.5 million federal coronavirus grant to cover the capital costs of refurbishing and outfitting a minimum of 2,000 square feet of Old City Hall, the building we're in. The formal grant agreement between the state and the Anchorage Library Foundation was recently executed on January 2nd of 2024. Currently, the municipality of Anchorage and the Library Foundation are working together on a series of grant agreements for the work to proceed. Furthermore, through the April 2023 Parks and Recreation Bond, $700,000 has been designated for redeveloping Peratrovich Park adjacent to Old City Hall, complementing the library project. Together, these exciting projects will make a significant impact on the revitalization of downtown Anchorage. So in closing, I would like to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of so many community leaders, Anchorage legislators, members of the Anchorage Library Foundation, and the Downtown Library Committee for helping to bring the legacy of Janet Getz's vision to fruition. The restoration of Old City Hall and the creation of the Downtown Library will not only preserve our historical roots, but will also provide a hub for learning, culture, community activity for locals and visitors to enjoy for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how long has your administration been working on this? And other buildings floated around a couple of years ago as possibilities. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, this, due to the desires of Janet Getz, this building was the building she wanted. That's the building that we had committed to very early on. I think we've been working this almost, well, over 2 years. And because of the grant issues and other issues, it's taken a long time. And so, and then we finally finalized the money from the state, the $2.5 million. So, but this has been the focus of this endeavor.
Do you have a timeline on when it'll be completed?
The completion has to be, I think, by the year of 2025. Or excuse me, 26, I'm corrected there.
And you mentioned that it's sort of meant to be sort of culturally specific to downtown. Is the library planning any specific sort of specific programs at this historic building?
Well, there is, in this portico here, this is a cultural easement, so nothing much can be changed just in the portico. The library, whether it's on the first floor or on this floor, is yet to be decided, because we're looking at things like workflow, security, operating hours, so it may be upstairs and it may be here. That decision, we're still in that process to make that. But as far as historic and cultural things, I think you can see around you what we have. It's very interesting. It's a really good footprint, quite frankly. And but as far as the library staff will populate the building with the material that they see fit.
I guess I was curious if there were any sort of fun activities they were looking forward to doing at this building.
Well, remember, it's got to be more than 2,000 feet. It's probably going to be more than that. But it's not going to be a full service library. Because of the space available. It's going to be closer in size to what it used to be. And it'll have, obviously Wi-Fi, magazines, newspapers, that kind of thing. And as far as heavy bookshelves, stacks, that's probably not going to happen.
How many books do you expect to be here?
How many books? That'll be a library staff decision, and magazines versus newspapers versus books. That balance will be figured out by librarians.
Will it be like a smaller version of, say, the Muzak with a little bit of everything?
I'm going to say I hope so, but I'm not making those decisions.
And what is the total price tag for this project?
Well, it's funded by the earnings from the trust, so it's funding a couple of positions from the trust. So the burden of this for the operations won't be on the taxpayer; it'll be based on the trust. And what was the next part of that question?
Oh, just like the cost of the total project.
Oh.
Just getting the library established.
Yeah, we don't know on the structure. There's some structural, if it's on the second floor, there's structural issues. If it's on this floor, there's some wall issues. But we don't know that yet.
All right.
Well, very good. Thank you very much.